Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another DC Comic deck building unboxing component video for Crisis Expansion number 3. So this is the one that ties into the Forever Evil set. So you get to play as villains instead of heroes. You need to fight against superheroes instead of... Oh, actually I'm wrong. You still have to fight impossible mode supervillain instead of heroes. Because the idea of the Forever Evil Crisis was the villains had to kind of team up to take out the other evil villains, essentially. This also adds new hidden objective mode, which is kind of neat. So we'll get into that. Alright, let's look at our villains that we have. So, usually I do Crisis mode villains first. And you got a hint of what one of the new ones is. So we have a Black Adam. Each time you destroy a card, including villains in the lineup, choose a player. That player gains 1 VP. So this adds more cards, like the Crisis 3 and the Roads expansion pack, where you can gain victory points to spend. So you have Black Manta. During each one of your turns, you may pay 2 VP. If you do, put a card from the destroyed pile on the bottom of the main deck. Lex Luthor, pay 6 VP. Place a random Crisis superhero or Crisis supervillain from outside the game into play in front of you for the rest of the game. So you can recruit extra characters. Harley Quinn. During each player's turn, you may pay 1 VP. If you do, pass a card from your hand to that player's hand. Bizarro. Each time you attack a player, that player draws a card. Deathstroke. Each time you contribute to a crisis, gain 1 VP. Pay 3 VP to destroy a card in any player's discard pile. Bane, who is a promo card in the original set. Each time you destroy a card with a cost of 1 or greater, a player, including yourself, owns, you may place it under this card. These cards may be used to beat Crisis, so you can kind of store up. And Sinestro, it's actually neat. That's the Parallax version of Sinestro. Each time you avoid an attack, gain 1 VP. Pay 2 VP to choose an attacked player. That player avoids that attack. Alright, then the brand new villains we get to play as. We get Captain Boomerang, which is one of them cards I was wondering why he wasn't in the Rogue set, and this should be why. At the start of each of your turns, you may put the lowest BP value card in your discard pile into your hand. King Shark. At the start of each of your turn, if you have 3 or fewer VP, gain 1. Pay 3 to gain 1 power. Cheetah. At the end of each of your turns, if you bought or gained 2 or more cards during your turn, you may destroy a card in your discard pile or draw an extra card. Killer Frost. During each of your turns, you may pay 1 VP or discard a card with a cost of 1 or greater. If you do, play a card from the lineup with a cost of 4 or less, then destroy it. Deadshot. During each of your player turns, if any player discards 1 or more cards, you may play a card with a cost of 5 or less from your discard on top of your deck. And Poison Ivy. The first time you play an ongoing card or a non-kick superpower during each of your turns, reveal the top card of your deck. Leave it, discard it, or pass it to another player's discard pile. Cool. So yeah, we get, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new characters to play as. That's awesome. Alright, let's hop into the regular cards. We have start some superpowers. We have Savagery. Pay 1 power, or gain 1 power. You may pay 1 VP. If you do, gain 3 power instead. It's kind of King Shark's thing. Cat-like reflexes. 1 power. When you are attacked, you may reveal this card. If you do, draw a card. Chlorokinesis. Plus 2 power. At the end of each attack, each foe reveals the top card of their deck. Choose any number of them to be discarded. Iced Over. 3 power. Put a frozen token on a card in the lineup. Then gain 1 VP for each frozen token in the lineup. Remove it at the start of your next turn. So the frozen tokens are going to look like this. They're going to say this card cannot be bought or gained. On the back side, they're going to say frozen. And this is a bunch of the VP tokens you can get. Black Mask. +1 power. If this card is discarded from your hand by an effect, gain 1 VP. Shadow Thief. +2 power. You may put a card with a cost of 0 from any player's discard pile into your hand. Copperhead. 2 power. Add the top card of the main deck to the lineup. Each foe discards a card for each villain in the lineup. Oh, that's mean. The Joker's Daughter. Draw 2 cards. You may pass any 1 card in your hand to another player. If you do, gain VPs equal to the VP value of that card. Some heroes. You have Black Orchid. It's another one of the Teen Titans that we haven't seen yet from the new 52. +2 power. You may discard this to avoid an attack. If you do, reveal it, draw a top card of your deck. Gain VP equal to the value of the card you drew this way. Nightmare Nurse. 2 power. You may destroy a 0-cost card in any player's discard pile. If you destroy a vulnerability or weakness, gain 2 VP. We have Frankenstein. +4 power. You may pay X VP. If you do, gain a card with VP value X from the destroyed pile. That's cool. Locations. Nanda Parbat. This is where Deadman comes from. Ongoing. Remove, or once during each of your turn, you may pay 1 VP. If you do, choose any number of players. Each of those players reveal the top card of the deck and may destroy it. Level 7. Once during each player's turn, you may pay 2 VP. If you do, that player draws a card. Once during each of your turns, you may choose a foe, steal 1 VP from that foe. Some equipment. We have a Porthole to Nowhere. +2 power. You may discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, draw a card. You may pay 1 VP. If you do, draw 2 additional cards. Sniper Rifle. 2 power. Attack. Each foe reveals their hand. Choose 1 card revealed this way to be discarded. Tarot cards. Choose any number of players. Each of those players gains 1 VP. +1 for each player chosen this way. Boomerang. 3 power. Each time a foe draws 1 or more cards during their turn, you may reveal this card. If you do, draw a card. And we have one more hero got hidden in there. We have Madame Xanadu. +2 power. Look at the top card of the main deck. You may put it on the bottom of the main deck. Those are our hero cards. Or our main deck. And then we got a bunch of impossible mode supervillains to fight. We have the Outsider. Each time a foe plays a card with a cost of 6 or greater, you may reveal this card. If you do, draw a card. Ongoing. Players cannot destroy starters. Atomica. So now we're going to have a bunch of the Earth 3 villains. Because they're the ones that were like the main bad guys in the Forever Evil storyline. And the ones that Lex Luthor joined up with a team to fight against. So you have Atomica. Gain all cards with a cost of 4 or less from the lineup. Ongoing. Players cannot play cards with 5 or greater. Attack. Each player discards all cards with a cost of 5 or greater. Deathstorm. Destroy any number of cards in your hand. +2 power. Gain 1 VP for each card destroyed this way. Ongoing. Start your turn. Destroy the lowest card in your hand. Attack. Each player discards all cards with the lowest cost in their hand. Johnny Quick. Draw 3 cards. Player cannot draw cards during their turn. Each player discards 2 random cards. Grid. Each time a foe plays a villain, you may reveal a card in your... Reveal this card. If you do, draw a card. Attack. Each player reveals and gains the top card of the main deck. Discard a number of cards equal to the cost of cards you gained this way. Nick Necro. So he's a new guy we haven't seen yet. Reveal the top 2 cards of the main deck. Gain 1 and put it into your hand. Destroy the other and gain VP equal to its VP cost. Attack. Each player gains the top card of the main deck. Lose VP equal to the cost of the card you gained this way. Sea King. Ooh, this is neat. So we haven't seen him before, but this is the opposite Aquaman. +1, you gain +1 power, and you may put any card you buy or gain on top of your deck. Each player reveals and discards cards from the top of their deck until they have discarded a starter. If your deck runs out this way, stop and gain 3 weakness cards. Blight. Each foe destroys a card with a cost of 1 or greater on their discard. Gain VP equal to the total value of cards destroyed this way. Attack. Each player destroys the top card of their deck. If it is 5 or greater, repeat the process. If it has 0 cost, discard a random card. Felix Faust. 5 power. Attack. Each player passes the highest cost card in their hand to the discard pile of the player on their left. Gain a number of weaknesses equal to the VP of the card you receive this way. Power Ring. You may gain up to 2 random heroes from the destroyed pile. Put them in your hand. If not, gain 3 power. Attack. Each player destroys the highest cost hero in their hand and discard pile. Owlman. You may gain up to 2 random equipment from the destroyed pile. Put them in your hand. 3 power. Each player destroys the highest equipment in their hand and discard pile. Superwoman. You may gain 2 random villains. If not, gain 3. Each player discards all villains in their hand. If you discard 1 or fewer cards this way, gain 2 weaknesses. Ultraman. You may gain up to 2 superpowers in the destroyed pile. If not, gain 4 power. Each player puts 1 card of each type in their hand or discard pile on the bottom of their deck. For each card placed this way, gain a weakness. Alright, and then the Crisis is Mazza. It's Shazam backwards. And this is actually, spoiler here, this is kind of an interesting thing because it's like, if I'm correct, if I remember from the story right, it's this is Lex Luthor, who's normally like in Earth 3 is like the good guy, but essentially what he did was he found a way to absorb heroes' powers into himself. And it's kind of why it became backwards Shazam. It's an interesting story. Forever Evil. I would recommend it. At the start of your turn, discard a random card from your hand. Mazaz costs 1 more to defeat this turn for each card of that type in the lineup. And the destroyed pile. You may buy cards in the destroyed pile with a cost of 1 or greater. He's got the blue back, so you can't play him. He's always the final villain. Alright. And then finally, not even finally, we have a couple other things. We have our Crisis cards. The Justice League is dead, which is the point of Forever Evil. On top of put the top card of the main deck into the lineup. Ongoing. When a hero enters the lineup, attack. Each player discards a card. Contribute 4 heroes. A city is destroyed. Put all locations in the destroyed pile into the lineup. When the location enters the lineup from the main deck, destroy the top 5 cards of the main deck. To beat, contribute 3 locations. So these are a lot more, I think, easier because they're all just contribute these cards. You pick these and give them. Lots of the other Crisis cards were like, reveal the top card of your deck. If everyone has a different card, this is beat. Or discard a random card if everyone's cards are different. And I don't really like that randomness of it. That was the only thing I didn't like about the older ones, because getting to pick and choose at least gives you options. Not only does it give you the option of which cards you're willing to sacrifice, it also means you can guarantee whether you're going to beat this or not. When it was all random, you might end up having to give away a really good card that you didn't want to get rid of. You'd rather have to wait another full turn if you had to. Or you might give up this card, and that might not be enough. And as far as I understand, the way the rule says, once you have to do it, it's done. Like, you won't get that card back. So you end up throwing away cards and never win. Each player, abandoning all hope. Each player puts all defense cards from their hand and discard into the lineup. Defense cards cost 4 or more to buy. Oh boy. Contribute 3 defense cards. Exposed. Put the top 3 cards of the main deck into the lineup. When a card with a cost of 6 or greater enters the lineup, each player gains a weakness. Contribute 3 cards, cost 6 or greater. Hunted by the Crime Syndicate. When you buy or gain a villain, choose another player. Resolve the current supervillain's first appearance attack against that player. If it doesn't have one, the player gains 2 weaknesses cards instead. When you buy or gain a villain with the attack, you may immediately contribute it to this crisis. Contribute 3 attack cards. Lost in Time. Each player removes all cards with a cost of 1 or greater in their discard pile from the game until this crisis is beaten. At the end of your turn, place all starters in the bottom of your player decks. Contribute 3 cards with a cost of 1 or 2. The Murder Machine. Place the top card of the main deck into the lineup. When equipment enters the lineup, each player destroys the top card. Contribute 4 equipment. Permanent Eclipse. Flip all cards in the lineup face down and shuffle them. Cards enter the lineup face up. All cards in the lineup have a cost of 5. Place 5 face down cards you buy or gain on the bottom of your deck without revealing them to anyone, including yourself. Oh, they enters the line up face down. Okay. Clear the lineup of all cards. Powerless. Ongoing. The number on the text boxes and cards you play become 1 or 1. Contribute 4 cards with a cost of 1 or greater that do not have the word power in their text boxes. Psychic Static. Put the top card of the main deck into the lineup. When a superpower enters the lineup, put the top card of the main deck into the lineup. Contribute non-3 tick superpowers. Release the Prisoners. Put the top card of the main deck into the lineup. When a villain enters the lineup from the main deck, put a random villain from the destroyed pile in the lineup. Contribute 4 cards with a cost of 4. The penalty is death. When you buy or gain a card, reveal the top card of the main deck. Destroy all cards bought or gained from the lineup this turn with that cost. Contribute 3 cards with a cost of 5. The Trinity War. At the start of your turn, put a card that matches the cost of the card in the lineup from your hand into the lineup. Contribute 4 different cards with a cost of 3. This World is Ours. When you buy or gain a villain in the lineup, gain a weakness. Contribute 4 heroes. And the villains in control. Non-villain cards cannot be bought. Villains in the destroyed pile may be bought. Contribute 3 villains. So I am curious because I do have the book here for this one. When you buy or gain a villain from the lineup, destroy it. When you defeat a supervillain, remove it. When you buy, gain, defeat a villain or supervillain, if you are not using Forever Evil as your base set, gain 1 VP. So that's kind of interesting. Because they don't have other stuff in there to gain VP. So if you're using a different mode, they added that in there so at least you have an option. And then after each player's turn, add the top card of the main deck. Yeah, so we already knew all that. Then the other thing was... if I can find the rules for it. Hidden Objectives. Most hidden objective cards list a slight modification if you are playing 2 to 3 player game. This is an addition to the rest of the deck because you get so many more turns in a smaller game than a larger game. The extra difficulty keeps it fair. That's not what I was looking for. I was actually looking for if it specified what hidden roles were. create hidden... Okay, just has a different setup if you're going to use hidden objectives. Oh, here we are. Crisis Expansion features two different styles of mode, full co-op and hidden objectives. Full co-op uses oversized crisis buildings, same basic structure as the previous crisis expansions. Hidden objective crisis mode uses oversized suicide squad villains, so the other characters. Your team has been tasked with taking down the crime syndicate, but members of your team often have their own agenda. Hidden objective crisis mode is mostly cooperative and more difficult than full co-op mode, as players will work together up to a point. Each player has a hidden objective card. They'll let them know what they need to do to win. There might be even more than one player working against the rest. Most objectives require that the final supervillain is defeated before you can even check your victory condition. You'll need to work as a team, but always with one eye on your objective. So it kind of just adds an extra little gameplay. So like the Watchmen set had a traitor mechanic and used special things like that. So like someone might be actively working, but that was against that mode. This is just kind of like, hey, well, we have to go to this building to stop this thing. I'm going to step over into this room and download these extra files type of thing. So you got these hidden objective cards. And they're going to do this. So, the Collector. When the final supervillain has been defeated, you win if your deck contains 40 or more cards. So it says, keep for your eyes only. Keep this card under your oversized character card. Flip face up when the game is over. Or 50 if you're playing a 2 to 3 player game. So basically, you're trying to, on the side, collect a bunch of cards, but you still have to defeat the villain to win. Heroes and their toys. When the final supervillain has been defeated, if you have 2 heroes with a cost of 3 or less, 2 heroes with a cost of 6 or greater, and 5 equipment. So it's a way you can win outside of victory points. So basically you all win because you beat the supervillain, but you won that little bit more. When a supervillain has been defeated, you win if no 2 cards with a cost of 1 or greater in your decks have the same name. Solo mission. The best defense. If your deck contains the following cards. 2 cards with a cost of 6 or greater, 4 defenses, and 3 attacks. The Traitor. The game ends because a card cannot be added to the lineup from the main deck, or 2 or fewer supervillains remain on the stack. You win the game. So basically you're trying to hinder them beating the supervillains. And 2 or fewer. Yeah, so you got some interesting alt-win condition. Well focused. You beat the power supervillain. Your deck contains 3 or fewer card types. So only focus on like equipment superheroes. Winner among thieves. When the final supervillain has been defeated, you win if you have more victory points than every other player. So that's your normal one. A friend in need. You win if the player to your left completes their hidden objective. Check for a win after each other player has resolved their hidden objective. It's just kind of interesting. You kind of suss out what someone else is trying to do, or just the player on your left is trying to do. You could potentially win. And then the final one is break the code. When the final supervillain has been defeated, if there are at least 19 different letters in the names of the cards in your deck, 21 in a 2 to 3 player game. So that's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, so that's a neat card. Again, it'd be cool if they made some more of these, just as something different to do. But like most of the expansion stuff, but the Crisis ones are really fun. So that one lets you play as some villains, get you some Suicide Squad members. That's all we got for this video. See you guys later. Bye.